Hello everyone, Nordic Beast here, and welcome back to Space Engineers. So today will be my first ever update video, and this is update 1.105. Of course, the big thing is the hydrogen thrusters. It says multiplayer improvements. I didn't read about that. I should definitely look into those. New sliding doors, inertial dampener changes, survival jetpack changes, and more. First off, the survival jetpack changes. I love those. What that is, they added hydrogen tanks for you to add to power your thrusters. So they work just like oxygen. You have the same 100% and declining scale that your oxygen has with your thrusters, but only while you're using them, obviously. And I think that's nice. That's another added feature to the game. So if you're flying around in your jetpack, say you're out on a salvage mission or something, and you didn't bring a extra hydrogen tank for your thrusters, you're grinding something down, you're going to fly back, all of a sudden, boom, your thrusters die out, and you're moving along at, say like 20, 30 meters a second, and you're just going off into space. Kind of scary. It's an interesting added aspect of the game. I like it. The inertial dampeners changes, I don't like those. I don't like it at all. I think I understand why, because they're trying to make the hydrogen thrusters for atmosphere and the now what they call ion thrusters, the regular thrusters, they want those to be for in the vacuum of space. Perfectly understandable, but it's still upsetting to me because now my fighters take forever to slow down. I'm going to end up ramming into shit left and right. I hate it. Alright, so next we have the sliding doors. Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. That's because my hand's all messed up. Anyway, look at these doors. Holy shit. And we have the old ones for comparison, which, don't get me wrong, I still like the old ones, and I think they'll be very cool, like, say for, like, a bedroom, or some kind of room like that. I think these doors are fine, but I don't even know if I'll use them for that, because these are so good. A, they have freaking windows. That's a huge advantage. And second off, they take up the whole block, so you got plenty of room when they open up, and then because of the door being on one side, you get these massive corridors for like an airlock. Look at this. Is that not awesome? Next, I just thought of this, because it has like, if you look at the bottom, it kind of has the interior block design on it. I would like to see a corridor block like this. Let's see here. Kind of a passage, that's what they call it. Like, kind of like the passage here, which I've always liked and disliked at the same time. I've definitely found use for it over the years, but yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see something more like this without the door to be like a hallway. Because I mean that doesn't take up too much room on the models on either side, and it adds a nice little level of detail. So just to make hallways instead of just empty open hallways. So yeah, I like those. Alright, so next up, as you see here, I got my Valkyrie 2. Oh, it's so gorgeous. And this one has a hydrogen thruster pack on it. Now, I built this because I wanted to add like a boost pack that would just use up its fuel and then you could jettison it. But first, if you look over here, look at the size of that fucking hydrogen tank. Dude, that's huge. I mean, just absolutely huge. It honestly should be like the same size as the oxygen tank. Maybe a little longer. Like, make it the same length as this, but make it, 3 by 3 by, oh, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So instead of 5 by 5 by 5, which is freaking huge, make it 3 by 3 by 5. That would make more sense. You can make better designs and everything, because otherwise I tried to make like a pack like that using the hydrogen tank, and it was terrible. So this one actually uses 2 oxygen generators, one there, and then a medium cargo container to carry ice, and then it produces ice for this as it thrusts, and it goes through it relatively fast. But I noticed testing this one while I was in survival, instead of the full-on burn that this is supposed to have, it only fires at like 1/10 power. I'll show you what I mean. Because I will end up in survival here in a minute. So as you notice, look at that flame. I mean, that's huge. And the acceleration, I mean, the thrusters on my ship are turned off. It's running on just the pack right now. And look at this. I mean, that's amazing. Now, the theory behind it is, I was talking to DHR Mike, and it looks like they're talking about making the hydrogen thrusters more fuel efficient in atmosphere, and the ion, or the traditional thrusters, will be for vacuum of space only. Well, not only, but like they'll be more efficient in space, while in an atmosphere they'll be much weaker. I'm fine with that. I think that's a cool idea. But this, it's frustrating. Like even with an actual hydrogen tank, it'll burn through the whole hydrogen tank in seconds. Like, it's unbelievable how quickly it burns through its survival. And just the lack of power kicking out of these is irritating. But my idea on this, the way it is now, this is actually going to be a drone eventually. So what you do is, say you're on you're on a planet with the Valkyrie here, and you have this attached on top. You take off using this. You get up to a nice high altitude. Once you're technically in space, you press one button, and I haven't set all this up yet, but I will soon enough. It'll unmerge from the back, and then it'll become a drone and fly home. It'll use an autopilot and fly itself home and land to where you can put more ice into it and set it up. And then the Valkyrie will be out in space and it'll be fine. I hope that the Valkyrie can still use its ion thrusters well enough to land on its own. Not necessarily take off, but at least land, so then you can use one of these to get into space. So that's my hope anyway. So to really showcase the thrusters, I built this bad motherfucker. It has no name, and I built it before I understood how inefficient the hydrogen thrusters are in the vacuum of space. So because we're in creative, again, we get the full burn, but in survival, it's a tenth that. Like, you don't get the thrust, you don't get like the cool flame effect. Sorry. So it just, I don't know, that was kind of disappointing, especially because I engineered the shit out of this fighter. Really to show it off, first it has one oxygen generator, an oxygen tank, and then of course it has this giant hydrogen tank that it burns through in seconds. And then it uses the little conveyor rings that leads to the reloadable rocket launchers, and then it has conveyor boxes in pretty much all directions here to lock, or to sync up all these thrusters. And so it all works. The whole thing has power, obviously, and I was so happy with how it turned out, because I started with the rockets, because I wanted everything to be fully conveyed. So then I added the cannons into it, and then I realized I had enough room for the turrets, so it has 2 Gatling turrets as well. This thing would be so very beastly, but I could not get it to work in survival. This is just unusable. Now, the reason I would also like to show this off is Connects Freak mentioned that I should design a hydrogen-powered fighter. And so in creative, this thing works amazingly. And just, oof. Yeah, I don't have that fully set up yet. So, and I was trying to describe to him what I meant about the thrusters. So I will switch over to survival mode here, and I will show you guys what I'm talking. Whoa! I broke it. My bad. Alright, so here we have it. Now that I'm done blowing things up, I went ahead and filled this thing with ice. There we go. So as you see, the first oxygen generator has, what, 18,000 K of ice, and the connector still has some. Where's the other? Okay, and that generator has 18,000. So that's quite a bit. Notice the little thrusters seem to be thrusting just fine, and that's full power. And even with a hydrogen generator, I'm sorry, a hydrogen tank attached to it, that's still all you're gonna get. I don't know why it's doing this. I assume, again, because they're supposed to be less efficient, I mean, I don't know. I have my batteries on, so it's not power. Maybe it needs just more tanks in order to go to a full thrust, but then the pack for this thing would be so huge, it's like, why? Why would I do that? I don't know. So, but the idea is I'd be flying around, and then you jettison it, and there it goes. So the idea is definitely sound, and like I said, hopefully in atmosphere this thing will work better, and it would, again, be a drone, so I could just take off with it, and that would be it. Wait, why are some of my thrusters still firing? That was weird. Okay. But actually, while I'm at it, here we go. As you see, look at how it takes a while for this thing to slow down now. Probably at least twice as long. And that bothers me. I don't like that as much. Again, I'm pretty sure I understand why they've done it, but it doesn't mean I have to be a fan. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked the series, please hit the subscribe button. If you liked the episode, hit the like button. I'll see you guys next time.